Why did a man ask me what I would cook for him to sweep him off his feet? And I just want to wholeheartedly say, I am never in my life trying to sweep a man off of his feet. I am the woman. I would like to be swept. I don't want to pick your big up. Nigga, you pull out the broom and you get the sweeping.
Well then, that escalated quickly. But for the record, sweetheart, being swept off your feet is not specific to women. It is just a metaphor for someone showing intense emotion, interest, effort, and impact to someone that they're attracted to. Sweeping someone off their feet can literally be a man sweeping a woman off her feet or a woman sweeping a man off his feet. It happens both ways, but the reason that you don't like is because you can't do it. You've never taken the time out to develop your character or your work ethic in order to perform a task as such. Sweeping someone off their feet has never been an easy thing to do, especially when you're just now meeting this person. What I'm starting to notice with some of y'all is that y'all like to shame things that y'all can't do yourselves. So y'all try to trick people into believing that you shouldn't be the one doing it at all. No. If that's someone you are interested in, you should put forth an effort to make an impact on them, and they should do the same in return. And another thing that I'm realizing is y'all only like things to be gender specific when it's in benefit to you. All of a sudden, a woman shouldn't have to sweep a man off his feet, but if a man ever were to come out and say he shouldn't have to cook or clean or do laundry, now we got an issue. The way some of y'all move the goalposts, man, it's sad because y'all not even trying to disguise it anymore. But back to the topic at hand. You don't like to sweep people off their feet because you can't. And even if your dream man were right in front of you, you knew you could not pull that off because you've never developed the characteristics in order to do so. And the next time you decide you want to come online and call that man a because he said, what would you do to sweep me off my feet? Please understand what the metaphor actually means. Y'all keep the change.
This is a video for the girls regarding how I see some of you talking about men on this app. And I'm sorry, girls, but I'm going to have to call us out a little bit collectively because I see so many videos every day on this app criticizing men for various things, right? Being emotionally stunted and unavailable and, screenshotting texts or describing conversations where men exhibit lack of basic emotional development and essentially saying that they're like all psychos and not worth engaging with. On the one side, fine, whatever. I mean, honestly, I wish people wouldn't make those videos, and I think it's very classless to debate every single dating position on the internet, but whatever. But then on the other hand, anytime I see a video of a man on this app exhibiting any joy, any whimsy, any emotional development where they are actually showing vulnerability and being open, all of the comments, I open the comments, all of the comments are saying he's gay, implying he's gay. Oh, who's gonna tell her that her husband's gay? Because he showed some whimsy, maybe did a dance, was vulnerable. And all of those comments are from women. And those two things exist in parallel and they're part of the same problem. And if you want men to develop emotionally, you've got to stop bullying them every single time they display any emotional development. Do you understand? See how those two things are connected? Like, let's have some accountability for our own actions in this. I know it's super fun to blame men for everything, but I actually really think that's not the only problem here.
I've had a really emotionally draining week and I come home to my quiet and peaceful house, and all I want to do is just cry and be held. And that's the part about being single that I think no one really shares and talks about, how hard it is to not have emotional support when you are the emotional support. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change showing up for my friends in a deep, meaningful, profound way. I wouldn't change, having the situations that I go through. I wouldn't change the work that I do that is also emotionally draining. And I also wouldn't change being single, but it is hard. And it requires a specific level of introspection, and you have to have self-care for yourself in a very, very different way than you would if you had a partner. And for those of you who are single, who are showing up emotionally and who come home and just physically have nothing left and you're just moved to tears, I see you and you're doing great. And I hope that you find space in your day today or in your weekend to take care of yourself, because you have to fill up your own cup too. And it's just gonna look a little bit differently because you don't come home and get a hug from anyone. So drop it in the comments. What do you do to take care of yourself emotionally? How do you decompress? How do you unwind? And how do you fill up your own cup in the absence of a partner and in absence of that just physical exhale, And thanks for sharing, because maybe it'll serve as a resource for someone who is single and feels a little bit emotionally exhausted and drained and doesn't know what to do. So drop it in the comments. I appreciate y'all. We got this.
And a lot of these modern women, they're confused as to why men stop pursuing so fast, right? You want all this attention. You want all of this validation. Why is he not giving it to me? Quite simply, men have learned, and either they have learned or they are learning to put their time elsewhere, right? A lot of men are going under the impression now, if you want me, then make it clear. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and get these wings and going back to the house.
Feminism destroyed my marriage. Feminism is demonic. Let's talk about it. It pulls away God's original design for man and woman. God, man, woman, children. And yes, men are the head of the household. And that's what ruined my marriage, because I looked at my husband as my equal, that we were competing with each other, and that I wore the pants, that I made the rules, I had the control. But this is when women no longer listen to understand, they listen to respond. So I'm not saying that we as women are below men. That's not how it is. And women are going to hear this and think, I can provide for myself. I can do everything that a man can do for myself and be happy and do what I want to do. Listen, I know you can. I can too. That doesn't mean we're supposed to. We are not equal. We are equal in importance, but we are not equal in our roles. Feminism completely destabilized the whole family structure, and we're watching the consequences of it in real time. The problem does not lie with a woman having her own job or even having a career or her own business. The problem lies because feminism told us to prioritize all of that over being a mother and a wife. Feminism has sold women the lie of freedom, but take a look around. Are women actually freer? But actually, if you look around, women are more anxious, more lonely, more confused, even more medicated than ever. They're not freer. So maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't men. It's the lie that we've been sold. And I only say all this because I know I've been there, I've lived it. I'm speaking from truth. And Jesus saved me. The culture is going to call this misogyny, this whole post. Meanwhile, scripture calls it order. Y'all have a blessed day.
Women love when they get what they want. That's it.
You need
So there's no loyalty. Loyalty doesn't exist.
What I'm trying to say here, and any man who's been to divorce or had problems with women will agree with me and understand exactly what I'm saying. Women are loyal to how they feel. If you make them feel a certain way, then they're loyal to that feeling, which is loyal to you. Women aren't loyal to anything outside of how they feel. Men actually are more loyal than women, because men, like I said, can suffer gracefully. Women can't. Men will be loyal to a society. Men will be loyal to a race. Men will be loyal to their friends. Women can't even get along for 5 minutes amongst themselves. Men will be best friends for 50 years. Men are loyal. We know loyalty completely. We'll go die in a ditch for a flag. You want to talk about loyalty? Men are loyal. Women aren't loyal. Women are, how do I feel today? You can take a woman on a private jet to a mansion in Miami and have the best time. She'll tell you how much she loves you. And then the next day when she's mad at you, she will literally say verbatim, you never give me anything. You don't take care of me. You reject me. I'm not looked after. She'll forget 12 hours before where she had the world. Because women are only care about how they feel. They don't even think. They just feel. And what they feel is absolute gospel truth. And it matters more than society. It matters more than everything else. They don't give a shit about World War II. They don't give a shit their grandfathers died. They don't give a fuck about England. They don't give a fuck about anything. Because they only care about how they feel. Whereas a man might sit and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to suffer for the greater good of my race, my nation, my ideals. So men are loyal. Women love when they get what they want. That's it.
You need.
I tell you what, as a man in today's world, if I was out there looking for a wife, these wouldn't just be preferences. These would be non-negotiables. And this is one that women love to clap back on, but you have to ask yourself, what does her living environment look like? And that includes her car, because if that's all chaotic, you got to ask yourself, how is she going to be able to steward a home, a marriage, your children? And the cleanliness itself is not about perfection. It's about the discipline and the stewardship that I feel like often gets overlooked. This one always gets met with a lot of kickback. If a woman is so full, listen to what I'm saying, so full of Botox and filler that she doesn't even look like herself, to me it screams insecurity. And it's an important question to ask because it makes you wonder, is she truly rooted in who God made her to be? Or is she just seeking validation from the world? Oh, and another one that women like to encourage with this whole fake empowerment movement. Is she half naked on her social media? And go ahead and throw a Bible verse in the bio. Don't overlook this one, fellas. I'm telling you what, is she disciplined with money? Is this woman out here spending money like crazy, out here chasing materialism? Okay, who's she going to for advice? Is she going to her circle of girlfriends, or is she taking that to Christ? How does she take accountability? Is it always everyone else's fault? Her ex is a narcissist. It's always her ex's fault. Does she take accountability? How does she take correction? Because remember, you don't just date potential, you date patterns. And I'm going to tell you what, those patterns do not lie. So don't forget that beauty fades. Character will either build your house up or burn it down.
And you really have to understand that a lot of these men that have checked out, even if they're not approaching, they're seeing signs of stuff that's going on, right? And so if I'm seeing that, I'm like, man, do I really want to be involved in that? Do I really want to have to handle that? And the answer is probably no. Modern women don't realize the way they conduct themselves is not appealing to men. It's not attractive to men. And if you're wondering why men are taking a step back, maybe that's one of the reasons why.
Listen, if this man can go the entire day without texting you, without calling you, without even checking to see if you're alive, let me tell you something that's probably going to hurt you. But if you understand what I'm trying to say, I'm going to save you months, maybe even years of heartbreak. Okay? You see, the thing is, us men, we don't forget about the woman we like. Okay? If we really like you, we think about you all day. And when a man is actually into you, not texting you, not calling you, not hearing from you, feels wrong. And when a man truly likes you, he doesn't need a reminder to check up on you. He reaches out because he simply wants to feel close to you, even if he's far away from you. Okay, so let me tell you this. If you are the one who's always texting first, the one who's always checking in, the one who's always carrying the conversation, always initiating, I want you to try something. Stop doing all those things for one day. And if your phone stays quiet, if you don't hear a single notification from him, that right there is your whole answer. And I know you might even say, oh no, but he's not a big texter. He doesn't really like to talk. No, he's probably on his phone right now scrolling Instagram. He just did not reply to you. Okay, so if you are tired of having men ghost you or waste your time, I wrote a book that teaches you what to say when a man ghosts you so that he either shows up for you or gets the hell out of your life.
What is a high value woman?
I would say a high value woman is a woman that basically you can't truly access high value without certain traits. First thing, of course, to be as attractive as you can. Doesn't mean you have to be a supermodel, but it just means you take care of yourself. So whatever you are, you manage to take care of your hair, you do your makeup, you look after your clothing, you are in shape, you fulfill your potential in terms of appearance. In terms of your relationship with men, you have a really easy ability to reject male attention and reject men more than you do accept them. And what I mean by that is if you are unable to reject men that are bad for you, you cannot be high value. If you're a woman that's constantly dating narcissists, constantly dating aggressive men, constantly dating men that are bad for you, and then you're claiming to be high value, then your choices are not high value. So you have to have an ability to kind of reject men that are not good for you. And the main thing I would say is that you give as good as you get. And what I mean by that is so many women, especially online now, they think being high value is just existing and a man just pays for her life, gives her everything, and she's feminine by just breathing. And that's what makes her feminine. I would say that you cannot be high value if you don't bring to the table exactly what you expect in return. So if you are not very educated, not very hardworking, not very driven, you don't cook, you don't clean, you don't do any skills whatsoever, you're not high value. You're actually a cheap commodity. Maybe you're just beautiful,
You're replaceable, essentially.
You're replaceable. You might be beautiful, but beauty fades, and more so than anything, beauty is just totally replaceable. But if you are someone who is really intelligent, really built your own career, built your own success, really confident, got all those great things going for you, and you expect the exact same in return, then you're extremely high value. Whereas if you built nothing but expect a lot in return, you're delusional or narcissistic. And I think there's a fine line between the two.
There is no woman who is not submissive. It is you. It is you she's not submitting to. It is the truth. There is no woman who is not submissive, Tessa.
Hard pill to swallow.
It is, and I'm telling you, even me, it took me a long time to know that and to believe that. It took me a long time. I always excused that maybe she's just that way. No! You watch her with the men she respects. Watch her with her boss. Tessa. This woman that men are excusing, that my woman struggles with submission, watch her with the man or with a man she respects. Not even romantically attracted to. Respects. Go to her workplace. Observe like a movie. See how submissive she is. Then go and take a mental note. Go and tell yourself, it is me she does not want to submit. I tell you, Tessa, I am responsible for how people treat me. Anyone disrespects me, it is my responsibility. I ask myself, what have I done to this person to show them that they can get away with this disrespect? And once I ask myself that question, I walk away from them. I show them that you cannot disrespect me twice. Do it once, we are done. You walk away. Because if you tolerate it again and stay there, you have just given her a leeway to step on you and do it over and over and over again.
And you'll have a lot of these modern women that will ask about chivalry. They'll ask about a man being traditional, right? But the issue is, when the man was giving you flowers, you were rolling your eyes at him. You was giggling, you was laughing. You know, a man go and open a door for you, he get a lecture on how you're strong and independent, and you don't need no man, and thanks, but and whatever other stupid stuff that you want to come with. Oh, well, thanks, but I really don't need that, so I don't want you holding on my hand. I wasn't going to do that. I was just being a gentleman like I was taught. When men continue to come up against that attitude over and over again, why in the world would they keep on going in that direction? Why would they keep on doing that? Why would they keep on giving you the benefit of him being a gentleman, and you're just going to ask,
let me give you value. Let me.
Oh, you saying all the right things. So you want to give a man value?
Absolutely. I'm trying to multiply it.
Oh my goodness, you saying all the right things. Look, okay, let me ask you this, right? So you say you want to bring some value. How do you bring value to? You told me you're gonna pray over man, which is very valuable, right? You're gonna bring peace. You're gonna be submissive. What else of value you gonna bring? So that's a good question, right? Yeah. Because I need the women to listen to me on this, ahead. Right? Teach them something. So since high school, I've been learning stocks, right? Yeah. Now, when I began, I was not good at it. Yeah. But because I learned to keep perfecting and using my craft and learning from it, learning to multiply money. First, I did it for myself when I was younger, right? Yeah. But then I understood the value that I could bring to a man by doing that, especially if he is not educated in the trading market, in the investment market. Yeah. Learning how to invest in properties, learning how to invest in the money and multiplying his success. Women don't understand that if she could just learn how to flip his bag from 1 to 3 times. Listen, I've had so many women on my podcast, and I ask them this question, and they say absolutely nothing. You are the first woman who've actually came on here and said something of actual tangible value. He on my podcast all the time. They say, oh, I bring peace. Nobody has ever said, I'm learning skills to where I can flip his bag. Absolutely. That's ridiculous that you're the first woman who has ever said something like that on here. So you're really in your mind saying you're learning these different business skills and acumen so you can take your man's bag and flip it. Absolutely.
Has been constant arguments and disagreements in relationships with a Black woman. You can't lead them because their success, quote unquote, ego will not let them be submissive. If I am more hard or not being submissive, in a relationship, it's because I don't feel like I can trust you to lead. Like, this is not a safe space for me to be soft and gentle. And I think that's sometimes what men don't want to hear or they don't understand. If somebody's giving you a hard time and they're not submissive, it's probably because they don't feel safe with you.
Can I call BS on that? I think I'm allowed. The inconsistency in statements like that. We'll say things like, we don't feel safe enough to trust him, but you feel safe enough to let him turn you every which way but loose. Unprotected, might I add. You feel safe enough to give this man and a few other men babies, risking your life and everything. You feel safe enough to give this man a key to your home. You feel safe enough to let this man drive your car, babysit your children when you go to work. You even feel safe enough to let this man pay your bills if he chose to do that. But you don't feel safe to let him lead you. Us women, we say we want leadership. We say that all the time. But in reality, we don't want leadership. We want somebody who's already going down the same path as us. And ultimately, that's not having a man who leads. That's women being in control. Can't fully experience leadership if our default is resistance. You really won't be submissive for the right man because in reality, you're just ignoring accountability. When we pick and choose when we're being submissive, the man cannot lead effectively, which puts us in this cycle that the men don't know how to lead. But at the end of the day, women, we don't know how to follow. You see where I'm going? The cycle is repetitive.
All right, who's gonna win? We got a husband and a wife. All right, y'all, husband and wife, they've been married 20 years. They have 3 minor children together. This divorce has been taking a little longer than usual. I think it's been pending maybe just over a year or so, and we're still doing more discovery. Both husband and wife earn quite a bit of money, but husband out-earns wife substantially. So they went to a temporary hearing. They have been separated. And when I say separated, no legal paperwork or anything like that, but they are no longer having marital relations and they've considered their relationship as over pending the divorce. All right, so we went to a temporary hearing. At the temporary hearing, wife asked for exclusive use of the marital residence. The court not only granted the exclusive use of the residence, but they also ordered husband to continue to pay the mortgage pending the results of the divorce on a temporary basis. And that's not uncommon. It's called keeping the status quo. So husband is still paying for the mortgage. Wife is still living in the house. She has the kids. Husband is also paying some child support. Fast forward about 4 months later, wife moves her new boyfriend into the house. Husband is livid. He does not feel that it is fair that he is paying for a home that wife is living in with her new boyfriend, who doesn't pay any bills. And I'm being told that he is wearing some of my husband's clothes. I cannot make this stuff up, y'all. At any rate, we want to know, does wife need to take over the mortgage, or does husband continue to pay until the divorce is over? Who's going to win?
A lot of these modern women are looking at men, and it seems to them that a lot of men are more detached now than they used to be. Why is a man not walking over to me? Why is a man not risking what his pride and his ego? Just come talk to me. Modern women have literally said it. Just come over here and talk to me. I might not like you. I'm probably going to reject you, but make my night. I need some attention. Nobody's giving me attention. There's been ladies that have said, man, I went to Australia, and even though I have a boyfriend, I live over here in Australia now. I go to the club, just having fun, and I'm not going to give any of these men the time of day. But none of them gave me the time of day either. What's wrong with you Australian men? Why are you not approaching? Why are you not talking to girls? Do you talk to girls anymore? You got another woman going over to Europe, sitting on the beach. Instead of relaxing in the sun, getting a little tan, sipping on a nice cold drink, you on TikTok, record yourself talking about where the men at. I fly half across the world to Europe and men ain't approaching over here either. Why do you think that is?
I had a chance to read the article, Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing? Beautifully written. I love a good read. That's something that y'all don't know about me, but I like to read. I enjoy a good read. Beautifully executed. Love that it was like a balanced analysis. It didn't feel like it was leaning one way or another. It definitely came from a place of curiosity. I feel like those are always the best things to read, is when they lead with curiosity instead of a definitive answer. So outside of that, the only thing I want to say is Having a boyfriend, I can't say isn't or isn't embarrassing. But this is what I will say. If you have a man in your life at any capacity, husband, boyfriend, you're dating, entertaining, that's your sub. I don't care if you're a dominatrix at this point. If you have a man in your life at any capacity and he treating you crazy, that is embarrassing. It is 2025. You do not got to get treated bad by no man. You don't. You don't got to do that part no more. You don't. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. A woman having a boyfriend really ain't embarrassing. A woman having a boyfriend and complaining and constantly about how crazy he treat her is embarrassing. And I'm not looking at him, I'm looking at you. Because people gonna be who they are. People don't gotta be who they are with you. I don't understand that part.
May this kind of love never find even my worst enemy. I don't think I hate anybody that much.
Things I did before being engaged that some people might find controversial. Before even getting engaged, I made him write down every single girlfriend that he had more than 6 months. I made him write down all of their contact information, and then I contacted every single one of them and inquired about my fiance. I ran a federal and state background check on him, and I made sure that they checked every single state. I made him provide every single W-2 he's ever had, and I made him provide any other income that he had that was not traditional W-2 income. I made him show me his stocks, his 401k, and his Roth IRA. I made him show me his driving record for the last 10 years, including any tickets he's had. He also had to show me all of his high school transcripts and his college transcripts. I made him delete every single ex-girlfriend off of all of his social medias and block their phone numbers in his phone. Last but not least, I made him sign a pre-engagement contract, which outlined all of the requirements and standards that I was expecting out of him. This included getting my nails done 2 times a week on his dime, getting a massage once a month, getting a facial once a month, all on his dime. He also has to pay for me to get my hair done at least 2 times a week. I love a good blowout, and I really need a gloss at least every 2 weeks. I get my eyebrows done at least twice a month, and he pays for all of that. I also required for him to have to pay for every single dinner that we went on. I shouldn't have to pay for anything. He had to buy me a house within 6 months of being engaged, or everything was null and void. The house had to at least be $500,000, which I knew he could afford because I looked at all of his financial information and he had the money. The contract also said that my mom was allowed to live with us when she hit the age of 55. I was raised by my mom, and there's absolutely no way that I would allow her to live as So there are a lot of very angry little boys in the comments on my video talking about controversial things that I made my husband do before we got engaged. Something a lot of these guys are asking is, what do I do for him? First of all, I don't really need to do anything for him. I'm getting a lot of questions on how I met my fiance, so here's the
High value woman. Manipulative, maybe. I am curious though, how many of you think that this would be well received if a guy did this? I mean, just the first part alone, the background checks, boyfriends, the 401k, the bank accounts.
A hardworking man will not shower you with gifts, but he will never leave you feeling empty. Being with a hardworking man doesn't mean you get designer bags and fancy trips on repeat. It means waking up and the bed's already cold because he left at 5 a.m. to make sure the lights stay on. He doesn't talk about big love. He just shows up every single day. Tired, dirty, quiet, but he shows up. He might come home with grease all over his hands and clothes and nothing in his pockets, but his eyes still search for you first, then the kids, then the dog, like you're the only thing that makes the whole day worth it coming home. He might not bring flowers, but he'll bring the rent money, the groceries, the fixed car, the future that you don't have to worry about. He's not out chasing attention or compliments. He is too busy building something real. He might forget to say, I love you with words, but he says it when he drags himself out of bed after 4 hours of sleep because somebody has to keep the world from falling on you, right? He will make mistakes. He will lose his temper. He will go quiet when he's hurting, but he will never walk out, never give up, and never stop swinging for his family. A hardworking man doesn't sell you the fairy tale and dreams. He wakes up and turns them into reality while you're still rubbing your eyes from sleep. That is not absence of romance. That is the deepest kind that there is. Respect the man who comes home empty-handed but never empty-hearted, because guess what? Luxury fades. But a man who stays, oh, that is the rarest thing that you can ever own.
Man, you got to protect yourself out there. There's a lot of miserable, unhealed women out here who will cause havoc.
To start lying to men, and you need to be batshit crazy. And I am very sorry, but if you are someone that is all about ethics and you don't want to lie to a man and you want to be a good woman, hey, I commend you for that, but I'm very, very sorry. My account is not the account for you. I'm very sorry to say that. I am all about scheming, bullshitting, saying or doing or anything to get what I want. I mean, I come up with the wildest scenarios to tell these men, and it works for me. If you are someone that is interested in having the same experiences that I talk about on my account, then you should probably start implementing some of the same things that I do.
Now, I pulled the video back up because I want to show you. This is an average woman at best. Maybe a little bit lower. If she got all dolled up, maybe she'll be... Nah, she's average. But if you have women like that speaking out, saying that she wants to basically hurt men, she's scheming, she's conniving, she's doing anything to get exactly what she wants. Just imagine the pretty women. Like, the pretty women can pull that off, right? Her average is doing that to men. Subpar men, I guess. Like, you can tell a man hurt her and damaged her, like, violated. She probably fell in love with a dude and they graced her. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying, like, she didn't heal. So whatever happened to her, she wants to do to somebody else. So men, let that be a lesson, because women are not afraid of speaking out about hurting you. Identify the signs. Don't fall in love too quickly. You know, take your time. Vetting process is very important. Identify if you're doing certain things, she's not reciprocating anything back. Cut your losses and leave, because she is not all that, and you can definitely do better.
Man, I am here to give y'all some dating advice, and hear me out. I know I don't go out on dates. I'm not out in the dating scene, but I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. Listen up. So first of all, let's start with this. Fellas, stop telling a woman what you do, like what your career is and how much money you make. She doesn't need to know that right off the bat, because I'm gonna tell you what, if I was on a date and a man is just telling me about what he does and how much money he makes, that's great. But you know what? That's gonna tell me that you're here to try to impress me. I don't want to be impressed. I want to know your character. And this probably is not going to be perceived well by other women, but I'm sorry. You don't need some 5-star dinner as a first date. I think grabbing coffee is a perfectly acceptable first date. And then here's a big one. Do not walk into these dates acting like you're pitching an investor. Okay. We don't need a pitch deck. We don't need to know all your accomplishments and accolades. Okay. We need you to listen, ask questions, evaluate. And fellas, do not let this woman play head games with you. If she's taking days to message you back, like, come on, we're grown adults. No one is that busy that if you are truly interested in someone, that it takes you days to write them back. Bye-bye. And y'all listen up for this one, okay? I mean, don't go sitting there interrogating a woman, but set it up to where you can ask her about maybe like a past relationship. Like maybe what would she have done differently in that relationship? If everything is all her ex's fault and she takes zero accountability, you better run like the gingerbread man. Because I'm going to tell you what, the person that is never wrong is eventually going to make you pay for all of their mistakes. So with that being said, y'all, show up exactly how you are. Let that woman decide if she is worthy of having a seat at your table. Y'all have a good day.
And you know, you really do have a lot of these modern women that they use self-care as a substitution. And what happens a lot is, you know, you'll walk into their apartment, immaculate, fantastic. I mean, you know, the stuff that they have, you know, you got $400 candles, you got the red light therapy mask, you got a Peloton bike that you might use twice a week. Everything looks perfect. Like I said, immaculate, all that stuff. But then she be online Googling, why do I feel empty? You know, how come I feel like with all this stuff around me, I don't have the things that I truly thought I would have. I don't have the feelings that I truly thought I would have. Well, you can't really spend your way out of loneliness. You can't really self-care your way and buy your way out of loneliness. It's good to take care of yourself, basic hygiene, and even, you know, go get yourself a massage. Man, you feel intense or whatever, whatnot. Oh man, I've been girl bossing it or whatever. Go ahead. You know, you want to get your nails done, do all that. You want to take yourself on a trip, it's your money, enjoy it. But a lot of times these modern women, and they're being given or recommended that, you know, just pour yourself into self-care. Just pour yourself into traveling and all these other things and new experiences. Yes, I will, and I have. But after all of these experiences, I still want a companion. What are we going to do about me not having a companion? Somebody help.